So yesterday when I was packing my shoes and my respirator and things back into my car, I thought, what is in the car or what is in the kit for the to-go kit of a high volume trade embalmer? Because Matt, how many calls do you do a week usually?
We are handling about 90 a month. So
90 a month, okay.
Yeah.
So how many, and I don't think I asked you, how many calls have you done? Like what's your
my tally? I have embalmed over 17,000.
17,000 now.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's a lot. All right, so we're gonna go run out to Matt's car to check out what he carries for his to-go kit.
I'm very glad that I washed the car today. All right.
Come on.
So it's very cold here in Michigan right now, but as embalmers, we still have to get out there and do our job. It's a little slippery. So this is my daily routine. I drive to the funeral home. I don't have my own facility. In the South, it's very common for a trade embalmer to have their own facility, but here in Michigan, most trade embalmers, I think, if not all, travel to each individual funeral home. And so you have to have a reliable car, reliable tires, and all four-season tires. And this is basically my office right here in the back of my vehicle. And this is how I travel. This is how I go from place to place. Of course, I have to have my windshield wiper fluid because I can put upwards to 50,000 miles on my car a year. Antifreeze. Of course, they have to have the notepads to pass out to the funeral homes. And this here is my grip. This contains all my instruments for embalming. And this guy here. And here is my restorative wax that I keep handy. Here I keep my embalming shoes in this bag right here, down in there. I also have bagged up some gloves, so I always keep gloves naturally. This is my Airbrush Cosmetic Kit here for doing airbrush. This bag here are more little goodies, giveaways to the funeral homes, pens and such. And this is also a cosmetic kit here. And if I have to get away quick, I have my little funeral flag to let people know that I am on funeral service. Every trade embalmer needs one of these.
Yeah, why do you have that in your car?
Well, this was to do little demonstrations on airbrush.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, because I also sell supplies, and every once in a while, funeral directors say, "Hey, man, I want to help me out." And
gotcha.
We don't have a body to work on to actually do the work, so I'll bring this out and we'll work on it.
Now, do you carry your own fluid, or do you use the fluid of where you go to?
Yeah, because I am a fluid salesperson for Frigid. All my accounts, they use Frigid, so we just send all the products directly there.
Gotcha.
As they need it.
Okay.
Here are my full body suit embalming suits ready to go for difficult cases. So I have, I keep about 4 or 5 with me at all times. And here are just my regular blue gowns that I keep with me just for, dressing and casketing, or, just normal embalming, such as, where there's not a lot of issues. So I keep that with me. So I'm ready to go at all times. Just wherever I'm at, the phone rings, I'm ready to go.
Hi guys, I'm Chris. I'm a trade embalmer in Southwest Michigan, and Kari wanted me to talk to you a little bit about what I do and what I carry with me when I go on my calls. So a little bit about myself. I'm been doing this for about 4 years. I currently care for about 600 decedents in a year. I have about 10 to 12 funeral home accounts in about 6 counties in Southwest Michigan. Here in Michigan, we're not allowed to have a prep center like some states are allowed to. So I go to each funeral home to do my work, and I carry with me a lot of the equipment that I'm going to need to do my job. Every funeral home has an embalming machine, an embalming table, and most of the fluids that I work with. There are a few things that I like to carry myself because I've gotten used to the certain instruments and I know what my preferences are. So I'm going to show you a little bit. This is my car. This is what gets me around winter, spring, summer, fall, good weather, bad weather. It has almost 200,000 miles on it, and I carry everything that I need to do my job. So I'm going to show you a little bit about what I have. Of course, we got to start with PPE. That's the most important thing. So I have embalming gowns, several of them because they get dirty very quick. I carry gloves. These are my personal favorite. I know some people have other preferences. The blue safe grips are my favorite for embalming. These are a little bit lighter weight. I use those for more things like dressing, cosmetizing, casketing, things that aren't super invasive or you're coming in contact with bloodborne pathogens or anything like that. So that's the first and most important stuff. This here is my embalming kit. This is what I take inside the building every time I go on a call. So what I have inside is everything that I'm going to use on a regular basis. This is called a needle injector. Some embalmers use it, some don't. I prefer to use a needle injector when I can. This is a wire that goes inside the needle injector, and then that is injected into the jaw, the upper and lower jaw of the decedent to wire the jaw closed. Everybody has to be shaved, and not every funeral home has shaving cream, so I carry my own shaving cream. Everyone needs to have their hair washed. Even though not all embalmers do it, they got to have their hair washed, so I always carry some of that as well. These are called arterial tubes, or you'll hear them referred to as cannulas, and those are what are hooked to the hose of the embalming machine, and this is actually placed inside the artery of the individual to inject the arterial fluid into the arterial system.
And you've sanitized all this, Chris, because I know somebody is going to say, that's so gross.
Everything is sanitized on a regular basis, absolutely. Okay. Yep, and then I always have syringes because hypodermic work is something that we have to do a lot. Razors, of course, go with the shaving cream. This is where the good stuff is, because these are my instruments, and if the towel is not exactly perfect, it gets a lot of use. So I'm going to show you what I take inside with me every time I go on a call. These are all my instruments. These are the instruments I use on a regular basis. That's for trocar buttons. Different kinds of forceps. One is just a general forcep, one is an angular forcep, and this is what we use to take drainage out of the vein. Lots and lots of scissors. Different hemostats. These will hold the arterial tubes in place in the vessels, so I have different sizes of that. Other hemostats that are just straight that I use for clamping different things. Items that I use for personal hygiene on the decedent. Nail files, things like that. Then of course we do a lot of suturing on the deceased, so I have needles and suture cord, things like that. So that's what I take in with me, because like I say, every funeral home has certain things, but they might not have the things that I want or that I use on a regular basis. So I've gotten to the point where I do enough of this that I have to bring the stuff that I like. So again, sorry that towel's a little bit dirty, but some other things I carry with me, I'll explain their purpose. I always keep plastic because leakage is oftentimes a problem with certain people, and we need to wrap appendages sometimes to keep that liquid from seeping onto their clothing or on the inside of the casket. Glue is another thing we use to help with that. So this is my favorite super glue, and this is my favorite aerosol glue. These look like paper towel rolls, but they're actually the rolls to the inside of a web roll. And they're a little bit sturdier, and I use these in autopsies, because during an autopsy, when they are taking out the organs, they will often take out the trachea, and this will rebuild that. So it comes in real handy for that. This is called an AV plug, and does not stand for audio visual. It's to plug orifices that may be leaking. So let's hope you never need one of those, but they are handy. A couple other things I keep with me that I don't take in everywhere, but I have it in my car and handy, is the respirator. I don't wear a respirator on every call. I generally use them when I'm having to use super high index strong fluid, or I have a decomp or something that's real offensive. So I always have that handy. Epsom salt is used on people that have edema in their extremities, or anywhere in their body actually. So I have that handy because not all my places carry either edema fluid or Epsom salt. Other items, I just have some backups of my needles and my hypodermic syringes and things like that. Cartridges for my mask, extra shaving cream. You would not believe the problems that we can have with hair sometimes, especially long hair. So I carry always detangler and different types to kind of alleviate the tangles. And one of the items that I always carry with me, which we all wish we didn't have to use, baby lotion. Unfortunately, we are all called on to care for babies from time to time. And the most important thing is that those babies smell like babies when their mom goes to hold them or touch them. So I like to end the embalming with babies with a nice amount of baby lotion so they smell like babies. And then the rest of everything in here is just, again, surplus stuff that I restock from time to time. So that's about all I have to show you of my stuff, but thanks for listening.
Prepara